to get a one-match ban for. And alongside him there, Mutiu Adepoju retains his place in the side. The colourful figure of Taribo West. And a big day for Furo Ianemi, a late inclusion in the squad. He starts the final at centre-back alongside Taribo West, and next to Ianemi, Nwankwo Kanu, the African Footballer of the Year. And what a start to 2000 it would be if Kanu could win a Nations Cup. And who knows, maybe go back to England and inspire Arsenal to greater things as well. The Cameroon players looking fairly relaxed, as is their wont. I think their captain, Rigobert Song, pretty much sets the standard for that.
Now for the national anthem.
Extremely casual defender at times is Rigobert Song. There's Samuel Eto'o and Pierre Wome. Wome returns to the starting lineup for the final. He's been injured throughout the tournament, and now he gets his chance. Kala and Njanka, so crucial in that back three. And there's the fastest man in this Nations Cup, Solomon Olembe. Brief glimpse of the coach of Cameroon, Pierre Lechontre, the Frenchman. And there's the pride of Anfield, Rigobert Song, wearing the captain's armband. Will he be lifting the Nations Cup? Or will it be Sunday Olise for Nigeria? There's 40,000 people here in Lagos who've got an opinion about that.
The national anthem for Nigeria.
And I think we can hear them now. The stadium rises for the national anthem of Nigeria. So we're just about ready for the final then of the African Nations Cup 2000. Rigobert Song exchanging pleasantries with that Nigerian side. That'll be over soon. And Mark Vivian Foe, who knows Nwankwo Kanu so well from London derby battles between West Ham United and Arsenal.
Keep within your seat. There should be no running or crushing into the arena. Please.
Trying to be very tight on security here in Lagos after the scenes during extra time in the semi-final, or rather the quarter-final against Senegal, when there was a threat that Nigeria would have to play their semi-final behind closed doors. And that threat was ever taken too seriously.
Thank you.
But the crowd were extremely well behaved in the semi-final. The problem, you may remember, in extra time in the quarter-final was that they thought it would be a golden goal that decided it, and Agahoa scored in extra time, but it wasn't a golden goal. Agahoa, many people thought he might start in this final, but he doesn't. Raphael Chukwu continues up front with Nwankwo Kanu. JJ Okocha returns into the centre of midfield, and Adepoju will play down the right-hand side. And the real shock is that there's no place in the starting lineup for Tijani Babangida, the hero of the semi-final. He has to be content with a place on the bench. Having said that, Joe Bonfrere got it exactly right in the semi-final by playing Babangida wide down the left, so I guess you have to stick with him tactically. There'll be a real threat coming from Finidi down that right-hand side as well. And there's the Cameroon side, just the one change. Pierre Wome returning to replace Bernard Chutang, and that gives Cameroon a lot of balance. It allows Jeremy to play a little wider down the right-hand side. And Wome's left foot in the midfield allows Alembe to push further forward down the left-hand side as well. That's just about the perfect balance for Cameroon. But Trevor, surprising team news from Nigeria. Babangida the hero one day, on the bench the next.
Yeah, I fully expected Babangida to play, but obviously tactically he's not going to suit today for Joe Bonfrere, the Nigerian coach. They decided to go with Chukwu. I want to see how that works, but nice ammunition to have on your bench, certainly with Babangida and top goal scoring form. And I'm sure he'll get onto the pitch at some stage, depending on what's happening on the pitch during the course of the game.
We shouldn't forget the threat of Julius Agahoa on the bench as well. There's certainly plenty of pace on that Nigerian bench, and you have to feel that Agahoa will get an introduction at some point during the game, probably during the second half. But after the lift he gave the side in the semi-final, when the fans really rose to him, he's a great weapon for Joe Bonfrere to have up his sleeve. The one thing you'll say about Joe Bonfrere, the Dutchman is certainly brave. To drop Tijani Babangida after he'd got them into the final is quite something. And so Mourad Daami is preparing to get us underway. With plenty of nerves fluttering around in the players' stomachs throughout all of those preliminaries and the anthems which seem to go on forever, and all the presentations, but it's part of the scenery in major cup competitions. And this, our first major international final of the year on Eurosport. Loads more football still to come this year, of course. We'll be here with you for Euro 2000 as well. But for your entertainment this afternoon, for everyone's entertainment, most notably here in Lagos, it's the final of the African Nations Cup, the 22nd playing of it. And finally, once he's got the signal, Mourad Daami's going to get us underway. There's obviously a stickler of a time. And finally, to cheers, some of them ironic, Nigeria to get us underway. And the first touch was for Celestine Babayaro. So Nigeria kicking from left to right. There's Godwin Akpara of Paris Saint-Germain. And a first touch for Kanu. And Finidi brought down by Wome. So much has been made of the defensive shortcomings of both these sides. It'll be interesting to see how the game starts. Already Nigeria aren't going to score in the opening 40 seconds anyway. Not like in the semi-final. Forward to Kanu. And this is Finidi. Good strong challenge from Pierre Wome. I think for Cameroon the opening 20-25 minutes or so will be crucial. Need to make sure that Nigeria don't run away with it, because they're so capable of doing that. And that was given away, and Eto'o did well to win the free kick. Isn't the best piece of play from Akpara. There's Njanka. good for the Cameroon players to get an early touch of the ball. There's Jeremy and Foe, two very influential figures in this side. Play for Real Madrid and West Ham United respectively. And Wome was judged to have committed the foul.
Well, Wome started the game very physically. That's two challenges he's had in the first couple of minutes and two fouls already. To watch his step.
Akanu finding just a little bit of space. Chukwu's ahead of him. Won by Laurent Meyer. That was sloppy there from Jeremy. Maybe it's going to be Nigeria who can create the first opening. So Jeremy did very well to win the ball back there. Good play from Eto'o, coming short. Well, Jeremy was looking for his options. He didn't seem to have too many there. Forward from Finidi. Delightful ball from Adepoju, finds Babayaro. But the impression Nigeria is showing off a little in the opening seconds. That's Elise. Cut out by Alembe. A little bit of cat and mouse here, Trevor.
Yeah, they're just sussing each other out. So everybody's getting a touch of the ball, which is always good, particularly in the cup final. Everybody trying to get as comfortable as they possibly can. There'll be a lot of nerves on the field. And of course that first goal will be vital to either side. Whoever gets it really set the stall out.
Nervous piece of defending from Taribo West. Come to expect that from him. Song's interception. There's Godwin Opara. And Taribo West does tend to dilly-and-dally on the ball at times. It must be really nerve-wracking for his coach, not to mention his goalkeeper. Ball from Adepoju. Now Opara. And there's Furo. Furo will be quite surprised to be playing in the final. Plays for Sion in Switzerland. Eventually he was a late inclusion in the squad. That's a good throw, and this is Mboma. But West did well to get across. Excellent thinking though from Pierre Wome with the long throw.
Well, the Nigerian defence is sleeping there. Quick thinking from Wome and quick thinking from that man Patrick Mboma. And almost paid off, got behind the Nigerian defence. Almost the first opening.
And might still be defending for Nigeria and Ike Shirunmo to do. It's going to be Jeremy to take the corner kick. And the acrobatic clearance away from Adepoju. But now Wome. Good little spell this for Cameroon. A battle of strongmen there between Wome and Finidi. A little warning there from Mourad Daami, the referee, for Jeremy. Already this is keenly contested.
As in any game, the midfield departments are going to be vital. Oluseyi and Okocha in the midfield for Nigeria. Four and Jeremy in the middle for Cameroon. Whoever gets the better of that battle, you feel, is going to be able to set the pace in this game.
There's Babayaro, and there is JJ Okocha returning to the side for this final after his suspension. Crucial figure for Nigeria. Now Adepoju. And finds its way through here. Desperate piece of defending from Raymond Kalla. Eventually the free kick goes Cameroon's way, and Chukwu looked a little sluggish there.
Just for a second I thought Chukwu was going to get the better of Kalla. The big number 5 stood strong, kept on his feet, and eventually tidied the situation up there, but a little bit of a threat there of Para getting on the ball, feeding the ball through there.
Well, the threat of Agahoa and Ikpeba as well, and also Babangida, is explosive pace, and something that Raphael Chukwu doesn't have. We do think that Nigeria lacks something up front, because Kanu needs someone with pace alongside him. There's Foe. Of course, Victor Ikpeba might well be starting this final if he hadn't fallen out with the coach and been dropped from group games in the quarter-final. Came on in the semi, might well figure in this final. That's a rather ambitious effort from Mark Vivian Foe. At least it goes in the efforts on goal column, I suppose. Now Babayaro. That's Sunday Elise, the captain. Should be simple for Olembe, but he's pressured there by Finidi.
Well, there's plenty of pace on this near side with Olembe and Finidi up against each other, and that's exactly what Olise was trying to do there, release Finidi.
And now this is Jeremy, already linking up with Laurent Maya. Chance for Jeremy to cross here, and Mboma was coming in dangerously at the near post. Foe. And again Jeremy finds Maya. Well, Maya looking for Eto. Has to settle for a corner in the end, but Jeremy and Maya do link exceptionally well down that right-hand side. And Jeremy bustling across to the opposite side of the field to take the corner.
I think Cameroon can be quite happy with the start that they've made. Possession-wise, they've had a bit more of it than Nigeria.
And Jeremy's corner looked to be a little overhit there, and it proved that it was.
Now, no real pattern to the two corners we've seen already. One underhit and one overhit. Can't quite work out exactly what Cameroon are trying to do there.
Here's Kanu. And now Finidi. I wonder if Finidi and Olembe just might cancel each other out down this Nigerian right. Little ball dinged forward from Adepoju. Trying to find the chest of Chukwu. Well, Laurent Maya having a real influence at Real Mallorca in Spain. Olembe's touched at him down there. Well, the ball was looking for Rome.
I think you're right to say that, Dave, that on the near side here, as I was saying, there's lots of pace on either side, Olembe and Finidi, but they're so similar. I'm sure they've both been asked to do a job on each other as well, keep an eye on one another. We just might not see the best of them in this game. So perhaps the attacking potential needs to come from elsewhere.
Well, there's always Babangida to come on and play down the left and create a double problem for Cameroon. But they can create problems of their own with that man Jeremy looking for Maya. There's Jeremy again, seeing a lot of the ball early on. Well kept in there by Laurent Maya. And that's Jeremy's cross, looking for Mboma. Done well to head it back across to Eto. But he just wouldn't sit down for Samuel Eto. Very intelligent play by Patrick Mboma, though.
Yeah, Mboma did well, just pulling to the back post there. And that's where he can be so dangerous, getting on the wrong side of the defence.
And that just sparked Nigeria Into a little bit of action. The foul on Kanu here. Just to be a high boot by Njanka. Finidi typically casually takes the free kick, and typically casually it's given away. One of the failings of this Nigerian side, you could say, but can't really coach it out of them, I don't think. There's Njanka. And now Mboma. Mboma's going to try one with his left foot. It's very powerful. But it would have to be an extraordinary strike to score from there.
Well, showing no lack of confidence there, Patrick Mboma. Mboma plays his football with Cagliari in Italy. And is an excellent player, very, very direct, very strong, very much left-sided as well.
You get the impression Mboma's deadly from long range, but struggles to tap in the simple chances. He showed that in this tournament. Scored one of the goals of the competition against the Ivory Coast, but he's also missed a string of simple chances. He scored 6 goals this season in Serie A. He must be doing something right. Goals come at a real premium in Italy.
Possession's been really poor so far by Nigeria. They've not been able to keep a hold of the ball at all. And Cameroon keep coming back at Nigeria. And the home team, as you were, under a bit of pressure at the moment.
Well, Cameroon certainly look the more organised of the two sides, as they have done throughout the tournament. There's Laurent. And now Jeremy. This is Samuel Eto'o. Needs a little bit of help, but done exceptionally well to win a corner there.
Yeah, he did well there. He was in a tight hole. Difficult to get anything positive out of that except get the corner kick, and Eto'o managed to get that. Unfortunately, so far the corners have not been particularly well hit.
I just wonder if Pierre Lechantre is trying to get a message across there. What can Jeremy do from this corner? He's slightly close to the danger area. But the acrobatic clearance did its job. Again, Nigeria's passing here, far from ideal. Kanu has done well to bring the ball under control. Here's Okpara. Kanu does take up the oddest position sometimes. Found himself there down the right side of midfield. He just goes everywhere the ball is.
He's one of those players who is a very, very intelligent player, and he'll just go where the space is, really. He won't be restricted by the position he's playing. He obviously has responsibility to be in there in the box, scoring goals.
There's the ball in from Adepoju, finds Chukwu. And Chukwu tried the little turn away. There's Rigobert's song. Pierre Njanka. Back three have done very well for Cameroon throughout this tournament, past few years actually. Njanka, Song and Kala. That is Kala. And this is Jeremy. And that was Eto'o in a little bit of space. Njanka up against Chukwu. Extravagant looking ball forward there, and Nigeria might be in. To Kocha. And just blazed it across the face of goal. He had no support. But suddenly, as they tend to, Nigeria came to life there.
Yeah, they just burst into action there. It was a great ball forward. Okocha doing what he's good at here. Step over. Unbalances Kala. What was he saying? Not a Nigerian shirt in sight there. Unfortunately, that tells its own story.
Good defending as well by Cala there, very strong. Bit of a dive in by Cala, but he got away with it. Cameroon have kept possession well so far, but having said that, it's given away. You should just keep my mouth shut. Now Elise, again trying that extravagant ball forward. Well, last time he found a Kocha. That one, radar not quite working. Throw it. Span away from Njanka. The run there from Kanu. Played in by Chukwu. Adepoju had made ground. Just sense that Nigeria is starting to find their feet here. Finidi getting a little more of the ball. And Njanka was always favourite for that.
Chukwu, he works really hard, makes all the runs that Kanu doesn't make, the ones that are heading towards goal.
Lovely languid piece of skill there from Kanu. Well, he thought he'd been brought down. The whole stadium did as well, but not given.
Well, there's a definite free kick there. Going to the referee is right on the spot, but still missed it.
And Nigeria are capable of just exploding into action like they've done in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Just up the tempo. Now Finidi, he's still got a Lembe to contend with. Adepoju, whose passing has been delightful. Here's a Kocha. And Kocha tries something, but way off target.
It is better from Nigeria now. They have stepped up the tempo. Starting to look busy. First 15 minutes they did look really untidy compared to Cameroon. Things just starting to come together for them a bit better now.
Don't forget you can have your vote for man of the match by calling whichever number's relevant. Man of the match in the semi-final, Tijani Babangida, not on the field this time. And is this going to be the first booking? Referee certainly having a word with Akpara. Just got away with the talking to there. It's a fairly cagey opening 20 minutes here. For this, a dangerous position. Lembe was making a move down the left-hand side, but in the end it was swung in by Wome, and fairly easy for Ike Shirunmu. There's a catch that'll certainly make his confidence grow, though. Well, Taribo West, never too convinced by him, I have to say. Kanu this time picking the ball up in central midfield, looking for Finidi, but as ever, Alembe's back there covering. Must be frustrating to be as quick as Finidi or Lembe and come up against someone playing down your side who's as quick as you.
I think they both know each other well as well, and that means that they know how fast each other are and are reluctant to try and take each other on. So they're definitely nullifying one another.
Yeah, they know if they leave a gap it'll be exploited. Last time these two teams played was 3 years ago in Tunisia. Nigeria won on that occasion. Played in towards Mboma.
There's a good ball in there from the right-hand side by Mayer. Laurent Mayer from the right. Mboma just got half yard there but missed out.
Well, now Wome. And there's Laurent Mayer. And Wome again. And Mboma's making himself a real target. This is Eto'o. Might still drop to Mboma. Well, Mayer was in space down the left. Well, the referee spotted a foul there.
Well, Patrick Wome there just stepped right over the ball. Made solid contact with the defender. The ball not really in sight.
Well, it's Monsieur Adepoju who's down. He certainly took a clout there, he really did. Was it just an over-enthusiastic challenge, or was there a bit of malice there, do you think?
I think it was a bad touch initially from Wome, and he tried to chase it through. And Adepoju is bearing the results of that. The ice pack has been administered straight away. Hopefully he'll be able to continue. He's had quite a good start to the game, Adepoju. Probably one of the more effective Nigerian players up to this point in the game.
He certainly felt the challenge. We'll have to wait and see if he can continue. Well, the game can continue while the men with their cart do the job. That's Eto'o. You get the impression that someone's going to have to take a risk here. A little bit of stalemate about this game. The ball in there from Wome. Shirunmu hesitated for a second. Now that's Jeremy. But the quality of the final ball not there at all there. Not there was really anyone to aim at.
I think you called it absolutely right, Dave, by saying that there's no risks being taken yet. It's all very safe football. Both teams a bit non-committal. Don't want to leave themselves stretched because there's plenty of pace in attack for either side. We don't want to give too many spaces for players to run into. And as I say, it's a little bit of a stalemate at the moment.
It would only take a goal to change that. There's Mayer. And there's some space here for Jeremy to run into. Well, that's a definite foul on Mboma. And finally the referee has to give the yellow card. It's Ian Amy.
That was a magic bit of skill there actually from Mboma. I didn't quite see it perfectly well on the replay there. It was excellent work on the ball.
And so Ian Amy becomes the first player to be booked for that blatant tug back. Never nice if you're a defender to be booked this early on in the game. A swung in dangerously towards the near post, and Cameroon have the opening they wanted. And it's Samuel Eto'o who can prance up and down the touchline. Wome's ball in, and there's silence in Lagos. Eto'o gives Cameroon the lead, and now Nigeria will really have to come out and play.
But I'd have to say initially it was a fairly woeful ball from Wome. And into the near post, there were bodies there. Wasn't a good ball in, but it broke to Eto'o, who finished quite convincingly when the ball broke to him. And for an instant that just silenced the crowd. And now the Nigerians have really got a game on their hands. and they may just have to take risks now, and of course that could just fall right into the hands of the Cameroon players.
Well, we'd already suggested with stunning originality that the game might need a goal. It's got it, and it should open it up a little. The last thing you want is for the Nigerians to go into their shell. Well, they know they have to come and attack. And goodness me, they're capable of doing that. Header away from Njanka there. And there's no question that Cameroon will sit on the lead. I think they really defend well enough to do that. Well, there's Finidi, dispossessed by Kala.
This situation will suit the Cameroon very, very nicely indeed. Have much more of a well-formatted defence. Just looks better than that of Nigeria. And they'll just like to sit on this lead for the moment.
The ball from Okocha. You can already see a bit more attacking intent here from Nigeria. Now Kanu back into Okocha. We tried the little step over, nearly worked for him as well. Great first touch from Adepoju. And that was Eto'o back defending there, the goal scorer. Well, the band's still playing, despite the fact that Nigeria are a goal down. And there's so much individual skill in this Nigerian side. The problem for Joe Bonfrere, as for every Nigerian coach in the past few years, is how to knit it together. When it works, it's sensational. And when it doesn't, it can look really disjointed. But they will have a good patch, they pretty much always do. I guess it's a question of how long it lasts and how effective it is. There's Adepoju. Chukwu. Adepoju again. Well, complaints there from Chukwu that maybe Rigobert Song was holding him.
Well, Chukwu just trying to lean into Rigobert Song, get the ball to feet in the box, and in his efforts in doing so he really just fell over himself. See what he was trying to do, get the ball into feet though, trying to get the penalty.
Maya jumping for it but losing out, and again. Now Song. Marc-Vivien Foé, for me, has been one of the players of this tournament. So strong in the centre of the midfield. But without him, West Ham can still win 5-4. Forward from Njanka towards Mboma. And the foul there on Lauren Meyer. Very busy player. A little bit of skill there from Eto'o, and Mboma might be through here. Chance for Mboma on the left foot! But unbelievably, Sharunma's made a blunder of the highest order. In the most important game of football in his life, Ike Sharunma lets the ball through his legs, and Mboma has his fourth goal of the tournament, along with Eto'o. And Cameroon, even at this early stage, maybe have half a hand on the African Nations Cup.
Well, it's a disaster all round for Nigeria. Sharunma obviously in goal. He won't care to remember that incident, obviously. But just for an instant there as well, I thought Mboma might have been offside when the ball was played through from Eto'o. The Nigerian defence just seemed to stand still. I don't think Patrick Mboma could quite believe he had that time and space. And drilled it straight at Chirunmo. And what happened next was just a nightmare.
Well, 14 minutes to go until half-time. And don't Nigeria need a goal? The brave pocket of Cameroon fans having a great time. The rest of the stadium, well, close to silent. This is not how the script was supposed to go. Nigeria still have a chance to alter the denouement. Question of can they now? I suppose you could say if there's one team in world football that's capable of coming back from this, it is Nigeria. If they have the spells they're capable of having, and the foul there on JJ Okocha. You see how frustrated Nigeria are getting, though. It's another feature of their play. What wouldn't they give for a bit of wizardry here from the free kick? Could be Elise, could be Okocha. Plenty of options. Well, Alioum got to his right and probably had it covered, but Elise unleashed a real rocket launcher here. I wonder if Alioum would have got that.
Yeah, super strike there from Olise. We've seen him do that before. You can't half hit them. His direction was slightly out. And Alioum had it covered anyway.
He might have had it covered. I bet he's glad he didn't have to make the save, though. Two things aren't necessarily one at the same, as Mike Chirunmo's just shown us. Well, Cameroon will be happy just to keep possession before half-time now. Forward towards Mboma. He's had an excellent first half so far. Now Laurent Maya, ditto. And here's Jeremy. Look at the men Cameroon have forward. You can see their confidence, can't you? Jeremy can't dink the cross out, though. And a little bit disappointing in the end.
Well, Cameroon are not shy in throwing bodies forward. The confidence is sky high now, obviously. And should they be able to get another goal, that'll literally be it.
Well, just over 10 minutes to go until half-time, and for British Eurosport viewers, a real treat at half-time. Well, it's Sports Centre for Eurosport International. We'll have Chris St. Valerie with Jerry Armstrong in one of his many range of jackets in the studio to discuss this first half. The real man of Savile Row, old Jerry. I wonder what I'd have to say about this. There's Finidi and now Kanu. Well spread to Celestine Babayaro. Jeremy dealt with that fairly comfortably. Wome. Now Lembe has hardly ventured outside his half because of the battle with Finidi. Forward from Kalla and now Jeremy. And now in acres of space is Laurent Maya. And Maya can advance and continue to advance. But a goal kick, it would have been a brave referee to give a penalty there.
Now, Laurent Maya has been excellent in the first half. Controlled up and down the right-hand side. And they probably had more of the ball than anybody else on the field. And used it very well. And his passing, but his movement as well has been excellent.
Well, it's a fairly open secret that he'll be on his way to Parma at the end of the season from Real Mallorca. He does look an excellent player, Laurent Maya. Now Kanu. And Adepoju. Kana just looking for a little bit of space. Here's JJ Okocha. Well, that's poor from Adepoju though.
Well, a lot of bodies in that middle of the Cameroon defence. The green jerseys are massed in there. Nigeria really need to try and get around the outside. Babayaro on the left perhaps, Finidi on the right. We're not seeing that yet. And that's credit to Cameroon, the way they're defending.
Well, Nigeria's 19-year unbeaten record here in Lagos is looking under threat, to say the least. 43 matches unbeaten. But there's not that many internationals, is it, in 19 years? Forward from Babayaro. And it's going to drop here to Okocha! And would you believe, straight at the goalkeeper, a yard either side, it was 2-1.
Well, he needed that one. He needed that to go in. A little bit of a deflection into Okocha's path. Tried to be clever with it and place it, but just only managed to place it into the goalkeeper's arms. Would have been a timely goal to score there. Just get the confidence up for Nigeria.
Well, it's a really simple chance, and one you'd have expected Okocha to take normally. It was just the break Nigeria needed. Wonder if Joe Bonfré is already thinking about the changes he could possibly make. At least from a Nigerian point of view, he's got options, that's for sure. At the moment, Nigeria needing to defend though. Now Shirunmu is looking pretty shaky after the error for the second goal.
Eto was not a long way away from that either.
That's a great turn from Okocha. And now Kanu with the elastic legs. And danger inside the penalty area, but well dealt with by Kala, and good refereeing to deny Finidi.
Oh, what a pass there from Kanu through to Finidi. And that's what Nigeria are capable of. But they need to capitalise on one of these opportunities that they're creating. It was great defending from Kala, but what a ball that was. Right into the path of Finidi.
And Finidi drifting into the centre, away from Alembe, and wasn't picked up. Eventually was by Kala.
Yeah, he needs to start doing that. He's very predictable if he hangs out here on the right-hand side. Needs to come off the line and make those runs into the middle of the Cameroon defence.
Well, at least the Super Eagles have started to show an attacking threat. It's got the crowd going a little bit. They have left themselves a little open. This is Wome. That's a good ball in as well. And rebounds off the upright. Still a chance here for Cameroon. And that time, Shirunmu made a crucial save. But so close to being a dramatic own goal there.
There's so much room for Wome on the left-hand side. And he delivered an inch-perfect cross.
Well, Nigeria are hanging on here by a thread.
Superb ball in from Wome.
Well, it was Ian Amy's header that came off the crossbar. Well, that would have been a defensive blunder too far.
Such a super ball in though, that's what made it difficult for Furo in the middle of defence.
Now Finidi. And a little ball forward in there. And Chukwu is challenging. Unnecessary flamboyant clearance, but the shot from Adepoju was really, really poor. Well, whoever wins today will keep the African Nations Cup. There's a new one being cast for the next tournament in Mali in 2002. And both these sides, already having won it twice before, would be able to keep it. Again, that was good, strong defending from Kala.
Yeah, the central defensive partnership was working really well for Cameroon. Rigobert Song's in there, Kala's in there. Right through the middle of this Cameroon side, there's a lot of strength. You've already pointed out Mark Vivian Four as being one of the players of the tournament. I don't think anybody could argue with that. And they've got a good partnership in Mboma and Etu up front as well. A good backbone to the team.
Forward from Njanka. It's important that Cameroon don't get casual. They've done that when they've been in front in the tournament previously. Nearly paid for it against Algeria as well. They cannot afford to give Nigeria an inch here. Well, it's very flamboyant from Mboma, and Sharona is coming. It's a chance for Eto to make it free. And it's spun. And again, Nigeria cling on. And the goalkeeper is being questioned once again.
That was pure persistence from Patrick Mboma originally. He wasn't favoured to get anywhere near the ball. Shirunmu just appeared from nowhere.
Well, it wasn't a simple chance for Eto, but it's one that he might have taken. And as Trevor said before, a third goal, you have to start talking about the game being over. Or at least talking about a remarkable comeback being required. A lovely turn from Okocha. And that probably should be a booking for Njanka.
No, a wonderful touch from Okocha. Don't Nigeria need that sort of thing at the moment? They need a bit of magic.
Aliou trying to organise the wall, which I'd rather split apart there. Worried about his near post. The ball in from Finidi, but too far, and Kanu needs to retrieve. Well, that was poor from such a promising position. And driven towards Finidi, but he's never going to catch that. Well, coming up to first half injury time, don't forget, for British Eurosport viewers, Jerry Armstrong, his views back in the studio with Chris St. Valery. It'll be Sports Centre for the rest of you. Oh, great touch again from Mboma. He's putting them under so much pressure.
He knew exactly what he was doing there. Just enticing the defender in, just trying to poke around the side of him.
And only a couple of minutes of added time to be played. It has been fluent, that's for sure. But it might just drop for Kanu here. And Kanu's done well. That's Chukwu! And Nigeria have the goal back just before half-time, and how important could that be? Suddenly Lagos can smile again. Brilliant skill from Kanu. An accomplished finish from Chukwu. Nigeria are right back in the final.
Once again wide open. Chukwu's done very, very well there. Got the ball out of his feet. Dragged it across the goal past Aliou. And that's always a great time to score, particularly if you're 2-0 down. And Nigeria now go into the half-time interval with the backs up. Confidence returned. And most of all, they'll have the belief that they can get back into the game.
Well, our first major football final of the year on Eurosport is looking like it could be a classic. going to be plenty to enjoy in the second half. Forward from Babayaro.
But Kanu did well as well for the goal. Held on to the ball nicely, dragged a couple of defenders into the central area and released it to Chukwu, who did the rest.
I suppose Chukwu was destined to score after I suggested he was lucky to be in the side. Kocha and a hurl, one of those bombs of a throw into the penalty area, and suddenly it's Cameroon who look a bit rickety. Well, there's the half-time whistle from Mourad Daami, and what a half. Cagey opening 20 minutes or so, but since then it's been everything that the neutral would have wanted. Open, highly skilled, attacking, and 3 goals in the first half. Well, Cameroon had chances to make it 3-0, most notably when the ball fell to Eto'o outside the penalty area, and you wonder, will they regret that, because Nigeria found a real lifeline just before half-time with the goal from Chukwu. They still have Agahoa to come, and we still have the second half to come here on Eurosport.
Whatever you want is right at your fingertips. The new B-Series Lifebook with touchscreen and Intel Celeron processor. Fujitsu Siemens computers.
It's incredible. The closest shave is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Mat 3. Easy error-free loading. Easy open flow rinsing, and 3 blades that shave progressively closer in 1 easy stroke. Mat 3 for the closest shave in fewer strokes with less irritation. It's the easiest way to the closest shave. Mat 3 from Gillette.
That's the one. Bad boy, eh? Boy, look at this. Wanted. Bandit. Suzuki.
And so they're still recovering from that first half back here in Lagos, and the Nigerian fans are smiling again. 2 goals down they were after 32 minutes. Samuel Eto'o giving Cameroon the lead, and then Patrick Mboma driving the ball through the legs of Ike Shirunmu. The Nigerian goalkeeper having nightmares, but right on the stroke of half-time, Raphael Chukwu giving Nigeria a lifeline. For international viewers now, it's time for Sports Centre.
This is Sports Centre, I'm Gareth Evans. Andre Lange took revenge on Olympic champion Christopher Langen by beating him into second place in the 4-man bob competition as Germany underlined their supremacy at the World Championships. Lange, who had to settle for silver behind Langen in the 2-men event last Sunday, drove Germany to victory. Fritz Strobel and Werner Franz outskied their normally invincible Austrian compatriot Hermann Maier on home snow in Saint-Anton to tie for a World Cup Super G victory. Strobel and France took full advantage of low start numbers and steadily worsening weather conditions at the site of the 2001 World Championships to beat Maier by 26/100ths of a second. The result marked the first draw in a Super G since Maier and reigning Norwegian overall World Cup champion Lasse Kjus clocked identical times for gold at last year's Vail World Championships. Maier, the winner of the winter's first 3 Super G races, made errors on the challenging terrain of the newly built course. Finnish jumper Jani Soininen was another casualty at the ski flying World Championships at Vikersund in Norway, but his fall wasn't as bad as Arte Kamadelin's yesterday. The event had to be called off for the second day in a row due to adverse weather conditions and computer problems. It's proving to be a frustrating championships for German favourite Martin Schmidt. Organisers hope to go ahead tomorrow. Norway's Frode Andersen had a nightmare on the firing range, missing 5 targets, but still managed to win today's World Cup 12.5-kilometre pursuit race at Östersund in Sweden. Friday's sprint champion over 10k narrowly held on to his advantage and scraped home first in 33 minutes 22 seconds, but he was chased all the way by Pavel Rostovtsev. No penalty loops for the Russian, and he finished 4.9 seconds behind and exhausted Andersen. Germany's Rico Gross came in third, while Norway's Oliana Bjorndalen was disqualified on a technicality, allowing Frenchman Raphael Poiré to take the overall World Cup lead. Germany's young rising star Martina Glakov ambushed the established stars by winning a women's 10-kilometre pursuit. The 20-year-old was perfect on the shooting range with 20 hits from 20 shots, and that laid the foundation for her success. Russian Svetlana Chernusova in second place missed 1 target and was forced to ski a penalty loop. Her compatriot in third place, Svetlana Ichmuratova, had 3 misses on the range. Glakov came home in 31 minutes 29.3 seconds for her second victory of the season, a result which must put her among the favourites for the World Championships, which start in Oslo next week. Second seed Natalie Torzia upset defending champion Serena Williams to win the Paris Open. Spurred on by her home fans, the American number 1 seed, the French number 1, took the opening set 7-5 and then rushed to victory over the American top seed. It's the first time Torzia's won in Paris at the 8th attempt. In the semi-finals at San Jose, second seed Mark Philippoussis beat Jim Curry of the USA. He'll meet Mikael Tillström of Sweden in the final. Finland's Marcus Gronholm won his first World Championship rally at the 35th attempt when he took the Swedish event today. The Peugeot driver recorded a winning time of 3 hours 20 minutes 33.3 seconds, finishing 6.8 seconds ahead of compatriot Tommy Mäkinen in a Mitsubishi. Briton Colin McRae snatched third position in his Ford on the final stage, ahead of home driver Thomas Radstrom in a Toyota.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Sting.
Big fans of Dune.
We're here to show you how to drive traffic to sting.compact.com by tapping into the equity of your Stingness.
How? Quality merchandise. Like the brand new day alarm clock.
It's my head. If you want to send somebody a message in the bottle, this is what you need. How romantic is that? It's a Sting Jell-O mold. What do you think of that? The brand new day toaster emblazons your face right on anything you stick in here. Toast, bagels, doesn't matter.
Some songs just sound better behind the wheel. Tracks that make you want to drive simply for the sake of it. And these are the 60 original and best road tracks. They're the greatest drive songs ever written. All on 4 CDs or cassettes called On the Road. They're all the songs that'll stay with you, however far you're going. to get on the road. You buy direct by We know great music when we hear it.
The women of alpine skiing have headed way up north to Sweden. And way up north in winter means the days are short. No problem, simply turn on the floodlights and race at night. Besides, it gives the skiing an extra special atmosphere. The FIS Alpine Ski World Cup, the Women's Giant Slalom from Ara, live on Thursday, 17:30 and 20:30 CET. On Eurosport.
Can a computer think? Can it learn? Can software be developed that acts exactly like the human brain? For 50 years, that's been the question. Today, Nugents are the answer. Using a patented breakthrough in neural network technology, Computer Associates has created the first software that can think. Imagine what this new software can do for your business. Nugents, software that can think.
And welcome back to Lagos. Half-time score, Nigeria 1, Cameroon 2. Nigeria's 18-year unbeaten record here is in danger. But that goal from Chukwu just before half-time gives them a chance. Highlights now of the first half, and Trevor Stevens going to talk you through them.
Well, it was a crucial first goal there. Eto's had a terrific first half along with Mboma up front for Cameroon. Struck lucky there, the ball fell at his feet. Question of offside there from Mboma. Was the best finish. Sharonmu in goal there for Nigeria, that's one to forget. Particularly when it's in the African Nations Cup final. And really Nigeria looked almost dead and buried, and that would have been them dead and buried there. That would have been 3-0. And eventually Sharonmu gets down to save. 3-0 would have been really curtains. Comes off defender there, Furu. Second effort from Eto. And Sharonmu saves. And eventually, ball comes to Chukwu. And Nigeria are back in the game.
And so real hope for Nigeria. We'll find out what happens after the break.
Comes Johnson now to take the corner. Hernandez already at the near post. Junior's calling for it. Johnson plays it short to Ryder. Ryder to Jones. Jones now to Bernard. Where's he going with it? Bernard hits a long cross to Manieri. Manieri to Jackson. Jackson's going to turn, faces the defender, looks a little bit confused, gets it over to Ratcliffe, and Ratcliffe loses it. Over to Palmer. Palmer's now looking for Junior. Where is he? Where is he? He's all alone in the box, and he
To sing for me is the greatest freedom. Freedom to soar, to swoop, to go wherever I want when I sing. All aspects of the creative process involve computers.
4-4 Nigeria. It contains a new face as well, the man the crowd wanted to see. Julius Agahoa, who turned 18 yesterday, is going to be on for the second half of the African Nations Cup final. The man who might not have been the best player of the tournament so far, but is the indisputable star. The somersaulting centre-forward Agahoa has replaced Raphael Chukwu, scorer of the goal, right at the end of the first half. And Joe Bonfrere will be looking for inspiration from Agahoa. He lifts the fans, he lifts the players. And Trevor Stephen is going to need to get a couple of goals as well.
Yeah, he's almost regarded as the lucky charm for the Nigerian side. And I'm a little bit surprised he's come on at this stage. Chukwu must have an injury, I would suggest.
And so Julius Agahoa on for Raphael Chukwu, and if Chukwu didn't have an injury, then having scored the goal right at the end of the half, you'd have to say probably one of the most unlucky substitutions ever, but I suppose he's done his job. He's done more than his job by getting a goal as well. And you just wonder if the momentum now is going to be with Nigeria. The next goal is absolutely critical. And this is going to be Jeremy with the long throw. The attempt to put him off as well. Bounced around dangerously for a moment. And now it's Laurent Meyer. Decent cross as well from Meyer, but an early touch from Sharon Moon. Goodness me, he needs his confidence boosting, doesn't he? Here's Jeremy. And Joe Bonfrere, the Nigerian coach, will really have been trying to inspire his team at half-time. Suddenly there's a bit of space here for Alembe. Wriggled away from Finidi, and for the first time was able to use his pace there.
That's the first time he's really featured in the opposition half, Alembe, and we know he's got tremendous pace. It just opened up in front of him there, took his chance, covers the ground so quickly with the ball at his feet.
And can Cameroon defend for this second half? But what a strike! What an unbelievable goal from JJ Okocha! And so parity is restored. Lagos goes berserk. JJ Okocha has driven Nigeria right back into the African Nations Cup final.
What an absolutely fabulous shot there. Okocha could not have hit that better. It was almost wind assisted, except there is no wind here. But that brings Nigeria level, and they must now be favourites for this.
I get the feeling the momentum's with them, and the crowd might be with them as well. And what a test now for Cameroon. 2-0 up, chances to make it 3. And now 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes, really, either side of half-time.
Oh, what a goal to score in a cup final as well. That goal would grace any game, never mind a cup final.
Well, Alioum got a hand to it, you know. He did exceptionally well to do that. It's going like a rocket from Okocha.
Yeah, and on his weaker foot as well, remember. That was his left foot from Okocha. The right-sided player, remember.
And he just timed it perfectly. Now Cameroon come back. Get a feeling this game is going to open up now. He could be in for a second half treat. Cameroon won't lie down. They've shown previously they've got stickability. Jeremy's long throw. Header on by Foe towards Mboma.
Well, we did say, Dave, didn't we, before the game started, that there's not a great chance that defences were going to be on top through this game. And it's definitely proved to be the case.
Great strike from JJ Okocha. He might have missed the semi-final, suspended. And I think he's made up for his absence here. And you wouldn't like to bet on it, although you would say that Nigeria are favourites. They've played each other 12 times in all. Cameroon have won 3, Nigeria 4. Who is going to prevail here? This is Eto'o for Cameroon, and Sharunmu was struggling again and nearly dropped it at the feet of Mboma.
Yeah, all in all, there was good goalkeeping if you look, because Patrick Mboma had just got the better of the defender. And if Sharunmu hadn't made that interception, sure Mboma would have finished it off.
Great ball to Finidi. And this is Agahoa. A little bit flashy from him, as it is wont. And now Maya. Jeremy is pouring forward outside him. This is Jeremy. A fairly easy clearance there for Ian Amy. Well, both sides have decided to attack. It was cagey for the opening 20 minutes. It's been anything but since. Mboma juggling, wins another throw-in. Looked like a foul throw from Jeremy, that. Sort of saw his foot come off the ground. And has he won a corner? Or is it another throw? It's a good response this from Cameroon after the equaliser. Now what can Jeremy do from the corner? He swung in dangerously, but good acrobatic clearance there from Adepoju. Oh, now a little bit of space opening up here, and what a chance that is! And Shirunmu nearly beaten at his near post, inches away from a Cameroon third there.
Well, Zeto yet again popping up in the right place in the box. It really is an all-action game now. He had oceans of space there, and it wasn't a bad finish. He's got to consider himself unlucky. And for the moment, the luck rides with Nigeria.
You just wonder how much Cameroon are going to regret these missed chances. We shall see. I don't think it's going to finish 2-2 though. Now Maya. Good ball forward from Jeremy. The Nigerian defence just went AWOL there to allow Eto in. Well, Elise and Jeremy getting involved there. Let's have another look.
That's the last thing this game needs is
Well, Elise was angry that Jeremy had overreacted to the arm, but then Elise did a little dig at Jeremy. And what did the linesman see is one question, and what happened to Elise afterwards is another, and what did the referee see, and what's he going to do? But the last thing it needs is a sending off. No, it wouldn't matter too much if it was 10 against 10, but you don't want one side to have the advantage.
No, I was going to say that the game's been played in such good spirit so far. We don't need any aggro in it. There's a bit of slapping going on there, and that's out of order, so it has to be said from Olise. I think he's got away with it.
Not exactly a captain's example there. And I wonder if him rolling around on the floor is tactical. The referee still wants to talk to him though. I definitely don't think it was an elbow, it's just an arm raised. And surely there's no way it could have hurt Jeremy that badly. Maybe it grazed his eyelash. There's the fairly basic method of lifting onto the stretcher. And Jeremy's sorry he was writhing round now. Once all this is over, this extraordinary game can resume. I still think the referee wants to talk to Elise. He's letting him back on. And it's a yellow card for Elise. I think he's lucky, and I think the game is as well.
All credit to the referee. Mourad Daami spotted the incident, and he's dealt with it accordingly. I think Olise was just trying to get away with it there. staying off the pitch for as long as he possibly could.
So the second yellow card of the game, Ian Amy for having been booked already. But thank goodness for that. As Trevor said, the last thing we needed was a player being sent off. It's looking such a good game. This now is African football at its very best. Two attacking sides willing to attack, and the constant accompaniment by the band as well. That's Wome. It's 2-2 and it could easily be 4-4.
You're absolutely right, Dave, to say that it is African football at its best. The game did start off fairly cagily, but once that first goal went in, it has been everything we were hoping it would be.
Little ball from Jeremy. And I suppose anything tests your run move. Looks a little bit jittery. I don't think there's too much question that we're seeing the two best sides in this tournament in the final as well, which is a good thing. Whoever wins can genuinely say they're the best. And there's no one missing this time round in the Nations Cup. Slightly fortuitous for Taribo West. And Kanu shoved by Song, little Premiership tussle there. I've seen Song get away with worse challenges than that.
I think Kanu's made a little bit of that one. Saw himself getting crowded out and went to ground fairly quickly. And Rigobert Song must consider himself a little bit unfortunate there.
That's got a bit of a reputation though, Rigobert Song. He tends to dive in, so I think that helps him. It's going to be Taribo West with equally interesting dreadlocks to take the free kick. And now a little bit of space for Kanu. Well, he's done well to wriggle away, but he was looking for the free kick, and that's excellent refereeing. He wasn't fooled. Now Adepoju. Little run from Agahoa there. Been a little quiet since he came on. Well, now a little bit of space and driven straight at Alioum with Kanu closing in. And this game is really on a knife edge now.
Great strike there from Finidi, but it's lovely work again from Nigeria. Lovely 1-2 played.
Well, they're really starting to play now, Nigeria. Cameroon look a little dispirited, although having said that, they've just hit the post. Adepoju brought down there. Taken quickly to Okocha, but he's going to strike one for a second. The skill from Mboma near his own penalty area. This is football played with real joy.
Well, there was a bit of inhibition about both teams early on, as I said, but that's completely disappeared now, and seeing some of these players produce wonderful moments of skill. Still a lot of tension out there, of course, because there's so much to play for, but the skill level's overriding that.
A wonderful display of ball juggling at half-time in Lagos. It was Stephen-esque in its artistry. I wonder if that's inspired the players. Oh, great ball forward here to Laurent Maya, and Laurent nearly picking out Eto. And so much credit must go to Cameroon here in a highly partisan atmosphere. They're still creating chances.
But Taribo West is probably fortunate he got the bobble there, and it's hit his knee. Laurent Maya's put the ball in here. I think he's probably been one of the best players on the field, if not the best.
Strength there from Mboma. Ball in from Jeremy. Yeah, Taribo West was pretty lucky there. That could easily have glanced off the knee and been an own goal. It's good on the ball now. I just wonder about him. More defensive positions. Now Adepoju. Babayaro hasn't seen as much of the ball in this half. There's skill from Okocha. That was an outrageous effort there. Didn't quite work. That goal's given Okocha real confidence, and he's trying everything now. Defensive slip there again from the Nigerians. They got away with it. Kanu finds Agahoa. So to work hard, Agahoa. Now Okocha. With a space there for Finidi. And dinked in towards Okocha. It looked like a hand there. And now Laurent Meyer again. And Taribo West just stood in his way. Now there was obstruction.
Yeah, only one thing in Taribo West's mind here. Laurent Meyer, he just keeps going down the right-hand side. Once he gets those that stride going, he'll push the ball, he'll chase it, and he normally gets there. But not when Taribo West comes flying across like that. Stop him in his tracks.
A little bit of a delay as the ball is retrieved. We've got a brief glimpse there of Pierre Lachon, the coach of Cameroon. I wonder what's going through his mind now. 2-0 up and back to 2-2. Jeremy's throw, quickly and intelligently taken. That was a handball though from Ito.
I mean, the long throws have been a weapon for both sides. Seen Jeremy putting in a lot of throws from this right-hand side. Tried to pick out Ito, who felt he was manhandled in the box.
Don't forget, you can vote for your man of the match. I'd say it's a pretty difficult decision so far. Remember that we would go here to extra time and penalties were they needed. It was 28 minutes to sort it out in the 90. Man of the match is a pretty tough one actually. Whoever gets the winner. It's forward from Finidi. This is Agahoa. And now Kanu. Well, Kanu got to the byline, but there was absolutely no one attacking the ball. There's Jeremy. Great ball forward from Jeremy. Not a bad touch either from Mboma. Same trick twice, wins a throw-in.
And you know what he's going to do, but you can't actually stop him doing it. Again, for such a big, powerful player. Very, very good footwork on the ball.
And it's just fantastic that it's 2-2 in a major final with 28 minutes to go. He even thinks of trying it. Jeremy again with a long throw. You get a feeling one of them's got to pay off. Has done for Cameroon throughout this tournament. Forward from Kanu. Both Eto'o and Mboma are now just one goal behind Sean Bartlett, the tournament top scorer. They're on 4 each and he's got 5. Okocha has got 3. There's Alembe. And there was a dive in there into the back of Mboma. Ian Amy. Already been booked, needs to be careful. That's a clever little free kick by Cameroon. The shirt was being tugged there for sure. Now Jeremy. And it's a poor ball in. Cameroon look the stronger here at the moment. This shows great mental strength. Jeremy had made the run, but Laurent Meyer didn't see him. Now Rigobert Song. And Mboma wanted it played early. Maybe he'll get the service now from Meyer. Well, Babayaro adjudged to have shoved Laurent Meyer.
Well, he's almost unstoppable, Laurent Meyer. He's got electric pace off the standstill. Wins the free kick.
And again from the right side, it'll be Jeremy. Whipped in towards the back post, towards Foe. That was fairly deliberate. I think he was trying to head it back across goal. Certainly puts Aka Bilk to shame. Now Jeremy. Just too far in front of Laurent. Sherman was looking for the option short, but wants to bang it long downfield. Or rather artless. It's wide open now, Trevor. Bonfrere knows that. Really, with under 25 minutes to go, absolutely anyone could win here. Still that suggestion of defensive frailty, but Nigeria passing the way out of trouble.
Oh, the game's gone into a little bit of a lull, but even so, still some excellent qualities on show. The close control, the passing and the movement. It's all there.
And was looking for Agahoa there. He's hardly had a touch since he came on. I think that's shown that Cameroon have done exceptionally well since the Okocha equaliser. They could have folded quite easily, 2-0 up, and then brought back to 2-2. Maya brought down again by Babayaro. They have to book him soon.
It's been a long time since Celestine Babayaro's had such an uncomfortable afternoon. If I were both mistaken, it was Adepoju. Could have been Babayaro. They're all having problems with him.
Looks like Nigeria on the verge of making another substitution. It looked like Tijani Babangida. And I think the roar from the crowd suggests it may well be. But played in again by Jeremy, and what a dangerous ball, and Boma and Eto couldn't get on the end of it. In the end, the big centre-back's header went wide. Real quality, though, from Jeremy there.
There was a lovely ball in. I think the Nigerian defence were... the Nigerian defence, sorry, just allowed that little space for Jeremy to knock that ball into. He certainly picked his spot.
Agahoa wins the free kick. But it is going to be Babangida. And it's going to be Finidi to come off. So right-sided player for right-sided player, although Babangida caused all the havoc in the semi-final. Down the left, of course. Most surprising that he was left out, but I suppose it was a question of how do you fit him into the side. He now has about 20 minutes or maybe longer to make an impact. There's every chance he might do, given the way he played in the semi. Well, that was a fairly thoughtless ball from Ian Amy. You just hope that they don't get nervous in the last 20 minutes, Trevor, and clam up again both sides.
Yeah, the game has settled somewhat, just tightening up slightly.
Might take just a flash of genius to settle it. This is Agahoa trying to provide it. He's going to do well to get round Kala, but he's drawn three of the Cameroon defenders towards him and won the corner kick.
That's when Agahoa is at his most dangerous, when he can get into the penalty box with the ball at his feet. Kala stuck to his guns there. Made sure he wasn't going to get a final delivery of a ball into the box.
Babayaro's corner. Alioum comes very confidently, very efficiently.
One thing that's been fairly disappointing has been the corners. Nigerian forwards very static there, never looked a real threat to the Cameroon defence.
Well, Mourad Daami decides it was a free kick for the challenge on Eto'o. Crowd weren't too happy. You just wonder how much fatigue is setting in now. Intensely hot in Lagos. So Mark Vivian Thorick. He's looking around for Jeremy actually. Well, they're going to make the change. And Joseph Desiree Job will replace Samuel Eto'o. So Eto'o won't be the tournament's top scorer. He'll finish with 4. And Job, who's been pretty disappointing for me so far, gets a chance to cover himself in glory in the last 18 minutes. Eto'o's done well, Trevor.
Yeah, Eto'o's been excellent, absolutely superb. Couldn't have done any more than he's done. Very effective partnership with Mboma. Now Job gets the opportunity.
Job was widely expected to be Mboma's partner throughout the championships. There's also Pearson Diafi, but he's been injured. But Eto'o has begun to make a name for himself in this tournament. At Real Madrid, on loan at Real Mallorca, was on the verge of going to Alaves as well. There might be a few clubs after Eto'o now. Looks pretty useful. There's Kanu, we know is useful. And that's exceptional play. Nearly found its way through to Agahoa, but didn't get the final touch right. Kanu is an exceptionally awkward customer. There's Jeremy, Maya. And there's Song. Going to be too far in front of Laurent Maya. Or who'd be a coach. Nothing Pierre Lechant can do now. Babayaro. We're entering tense, edgy territory now. Towards the end of the game, where one piece of brilliance or one mistake could decide it. And no one wants to make the mistake. Elise. Now a Kocha. Trying to set Babangida free. Here's the Cameroon substitute, Job. Bit of space for him as well, and Mboma. But Job was sent tumbling, or went tumbling anyway. Agahoa. Connor always seems to select the right option. That's Elise. That's poor from Kanu. But he so rarely gives the ball away. We'll let him off one. Forward there from Babayaro for Agahoa. The sense is getting a bit nervy, Trevor.
Yeah, the fluidity of the game is no longer there. Both sides trying to settle it now. It could just be one more goal that settles this, but it really could come at any time, or not at all. It certainly is one of those games. Very unpredictable.
Remember, Cameroon were 2 goals up on the half hour. And Chukwu and Akocha brought it back to 2-2 either side at half time. At that moment it looked like it could be 4-3 or 5-4. But chances have been missed. Now who's going to take a chance? Baba Yaro.
Well, momentum lost there again. Baba Yaro had it on the left-hand side. Just would have liked to see him have a go at Jeremy, who was marking him. Just say the momentum was lost. He passed it back. Cameroon defence were in control then.
And now Jeremy. Laurent Maya, who still looks relatively full of running. Now Foe. And now a chance maybe for Babangida to run up against Wome and Alembe. Babangida's got the same problem as Finidi up against Alembe, who's just as quick as him. But he got Nigeria into this final with the 2 goals against South Africa. What a hero it'd be if he got the winner here. And now it's Mboma. Thought he was going to try one on his left foot there. Maya makes the run for him. Still Mboma though. It was a great try from Mboma. A little drag back in there.
Well, it was almost great imagination there from Mboma, because he was faced with a white wall there. 3 Nigerian shirts in front of him, and he almost conjured up something from nothing.
Mboma would be amongst the candidates for man of the match. Voted for, of course, by you, the viewers. Not sure I'd know who to choose. There's Elise. 12 minutes left in Lagos, and if there's not a goal, we're going to extra time. Nigeria would have settled for that when they were 2-0 down. And still they come forward. Baba Yaro. Casual, brilliant ball from Adepoju. And Babangida. Well, he's tested Alembe for pace there. Well, maybe Alembe isn't the fastest man in the tournament.
Well, he just managed to unbalance Alembe there, but if Alembe didn't have that pace, Babangida was away.
Well, he's won the corner anyway. Well, Callow's rising, but Alioum's got there. Alioum's been impressive so far. Couldn't really do anything about either goal. Cameroon are dangerous on the break. Job was making a run through the middle. And again, it's Laurent Maya who's brought down for the free kick. He's been absolutely tireless. Now Mboma! I thought for a second he was going to nestle in the top corner. He was on his wrong foot.
Well, he fancies himself from outside the box, whether it be on his weaker foot, which that was. You'd have expected to hit the target. To see by his reaction there, he was a bit disappointed with his final effort.
So we're into the last 10 minutes. I thought Agaho was in for a second. What a fairy tale it would be if he got the winner. Look how many somersaults he turned.
Cameroon defence have looked after Agaho so far. Kept him out of the danger area. Kept him facing away from goal.
Babayaro's throw. And here's Kanu. And Kanu adjudged to have been offside. He's looked a little tired throughout the tournament, Kanu, but he's looked excellent today. Now and Janka. All these players, of course, will be returning to club football, and this 22 will be club football in Europe. Well, you have a little bit of time to recuperate. There are some tired legs out there. I bet you they don't get it, though. One player on the field who isn't European based is Agaho, who's at Esperance in Tunisia.
Can't see him being there for that much longer. Agaho looks to have incredible ability for a man of only 18. Or a
Just
boy,
18
let's say.
at that. Yeah, I think we'll call him boy. He's also got star quality, which arguably in today's game is a little more important. You've got to be able to play as well. Very blatant trip on Adepoju. Again, Kanu goes where the space is and creates some more for himself in towards Agahoa. Adepoju now. See that Agahoa has been tightly marshalled there. Well, Kanu audaciously tried to slip it past Aliou.
Typical Kanu, so unpredictable. He just toe poked the ball eventually, just trying to catch Aliou off guard.
Forward there from Babayaro, looking for Agahoa. I wonder if we're heading for extra time here. The ball from Alembe. Sorry, his legs gave up on him there. Agaho is very willing, and Aliou, luckily for him, managed to poke it to Jeremy. And Kocha was loitering there, and he's capable of the spectacular if Aliou had been caught out of his goal. Now there's Mboma looking for a return ball to Job. Remember, there'll be a bit of stoppage time at the end of this game as well. No problems involving Olise earlier on in the half. Babayaro battling away and eventually winning the free kick.
Great competitive play there from Celestine Babayaro. Rigobert's song. determined to get a hold of the ball. Eventually gets a hold of Babiaro's leg instead.
Certainly combative, Rigobert Song. Never argue that. For the effortless crossfield ball. Babangida. Now Elise. Rather scuffed this shot. Makes a big difference when he's back in the side. Sunday Elise had a bout of malaria, missed a couple of games in the tournament. You just sense a bit of tiredness now. 4 minutes to go. Forward from Song, with the flag up for offside against Job.
Well, so far none of the substitutions have really paid off for either side. Nobody who's come on has been particularly influential.
Both sides just looking for a spark at the moment. Now Furrow, maybe he can provide it for Cameroon. Laurent Meyer. There's a good ball from Laurent Meyer as well. Now this is Wome. Got a few options in there as well. Almost all went through to Meyer. And Furrow. Maybe Wome delayed just too long there. And the clock ticks down. Is it going to take another half hour to try and separate these sides? Well, error there from Song. Well, that's good strong defending from Kala there.
Well, for once Kanu made the wrong judgment, wrong decision in choice of pass. She doesn't do very often, though, has to be said. Tried to give the ball back to Agahoa. Should have held on to it in the middle of the park.
There's Pearson Diaty there. Injured for this final. Now Jeremy. Well, Jeremy nearly picked out Mboma there. And that wasn't a million miles away either. Driven back in, and Alembe nearly the hero for Cameroon. Be pretty harsh on either side to lose it now. He's given absolutely everything here. The pace there from Agahoa.
Matched by the strength of Kala. Needed to be strong there. Agahoa could just smell an opportunity there.
Space here for Joseph Desiree Job. Can he pick out Mboma? Meyer's in there as well. Tried to be far too clever though. So into the final minute. How much injury time will there be, I wonder? I would have guessed quite a bit. Well, you never know. So now Alembe's in space. Maybe we won't need any extra time. The ball wasn't there though for Mboma. It's hard to say that either side has shaded it. It's been very close. Cameroon's first half. The first half of the second half belonged to Nigeria. And it's been pretty even since then. I have been impressed with the way that Cameroon didn't fold, came straight back at Nigeria after the equaliser.
You know, both sides deserve a lot of credit. And really you couldn't argue with whoever wins this one. Two deserving teams, really. It's been quite a story so far.
And still the band plays on. Well, I find that extraordinary. There's only 3 minutes of added time, given that we had 2 minutes in the first half that hardly had an injury, and then a massive delay in the second half. Never quite worked that out. So 2.5 minutes more to decide it, or else it's an extra half hour. Laurent Meyer. I suppose at moments like this, Trevor, it's a question of not making a mistake.
Yeah, keeping the ball in the opposition half as well. Definitely don't want mistakes at this stage. Cameroon have got a little opportunity here. Get a ball in. Podju is leaning on Rigobert's song there.
You see they're hardly pushing anyone forward though. Jeremy will have to get this spot on. Would have thought Mboma will be the target. Mboma has peeled away. Maybe Cameroon have a chance to finish it here. Back in by Foe. Now Agahoa sets off on a run. Babangida's gone to the left as well. Kano has the ability to find either of them. Agahoa's had to pull out far too wide right, surely. Lembe closed him down. No one could quite time their run right there for Kanu. Well, Njanka has said something. The first Cameroon player to be booked. 2 Nigerians, Elise and Ian Amy, been shown the yellow card as well. Cameroon have to get this clear. Of course, Rigobert's song had already been booked for Cameroon. It's all the excitement, you see, to get things. Maybe one last attack here. Laurent Meyer, one of the candidates for man of the match. And now Jeremy looking for Mboma. Eventually it was Job on the end of it. And there was that flag up against him. Yeah, it's a good decision as well, only just.
Yeah, a little bit silly there. Joby could see that he was running into an offside position, didn't allow Jeremy time to get the cross in.
And there is the final whistle from Mourad Daami of Tunisia, and it's going to need an extra half hour. No golden goal. Extra time and penalties if it's still level. The Cameroon were 2-0 up, but it's finished 2-2 in Lagos.
Now for extra time, 15 minutes. 15 minutes each way. In the event of a tie, after the extra time, penalty kicks will be taken to determine the winner. Thank you very much.
There you go, it's been explained for
Once
you.
again, spectators,
You did far better than I could have done.
remain seated and keep calm.
Look at that again from
The match is
Okocha.
not over until the final whistle. Thank you very much.
It was a lovely way to draw level. That's the goal that takes this cup final into extra time.
Well, the effort from Foe there. Just looking at some of the highlights of the second half. Look at this from Eto'o. So near. That would have made it 3-2 Cameroon. And then the little incident.
Yeah, there's been things going on all the way through the game. That was one of the, in fact, the only unsavoury incident during that 90 minutes.
It's been played in a pretty good spirit. And Taribo West was lucky there. I'm not sure that's a highlight, but there you go. For those who enjoy watching goalkeepers' catches, it's a real classic. And so, time for the coaches to have a chat, and for tired muscles to be revived, for the crowd to get themselves ready for an extra half hour in Lagos. Nigeria beat Senegal in extra time in the quarter-final. Third place playoff went to extra time and penalties as well, and South Africa winning that. And now the final itself. It's Nigeria's 6th African Nations Cup final, Cameroon's 4th, and 2 wins each so far. Remember, both of Cameroon's wins came in finals against Nigeria in 1984 and 1988. Nigeria last won it in 1994, didn't compete in either of the last 2 Nations Cups. And can they find it within them to win in front of their home supporters here? I suppose you can argue that their unbeaten home record stays intact if you only count up to 90 minutes. And the real hope here is that neither side plays for penalties or is too scared. And we're coming up later on in the week on Eurosport. Euro goals, top match there, Betis against Barcelona, and another Euro Legends programme, classic stuff from the 80s. Since remember France from the 1980s, particularly enjoyable. A certain curly-haired central midfield player to entertain you all. And I'm not talking about Didier Cisse. So Trevor, into extra time, and I guess it's very, very close, and probably too close to call.
Yeah, I think so. It's been a really, really enjoyable final, it has to be said. A lot of top quality play, lots of skill, some naive defending at times, but we expected that. Some great goals scored. Now we've got 30 minutes extra. So both sets of players sitting and lying down indeed during the break, just waiting for the extra time to start. This is when a bit of stiffness will creep in, and it'll be interesting to see who adapts to it better.
Just in Cameroon just edged it on throw-ins, 22-21, and 2015 on goal kicks to Nigeria. Invaluable statistics there. Most important one is that it's 2-2 at full time, and again that Nigerian huddle. And can they inspire themselves to win it? We thought the momentum was with them, and they brought it back to 2-2, but Cameroon have held on, done really well. And a small pocket of Cameroon fans preparing themselves for extra time. You can see the sweat on the referee as well. So we're just about ready to get back underway. I think Ike Shirundu, the Nigerian goalkeeper, will be happy that his blunder, letting Mboma's shot through his legs, didn't prove ultimately decisive. I know it's an old cliche, but is it a question now who wants it more?
Well, I don't think there'll be much between the two. I think they both really do want this, and it's going to be a bit of skill, or maybe just one lapse in defence. It can make all the difference. Huge prize to play for these two sides.
Let's hope he doesn't go to penalties. It's always a really poor way of deciding things. And here's a Lembe. His space is going to open up for the likes of him now. He's still got the legs to use it. Lembe again, and Job trying to take it forward. Strong challenge from Foe. And yet again, Lauren Meyer earns a free kick. He's right up there with the candidates for man of the match.
I wouldn't argue with that sentiment. He's been outstanding, Lauren Meyer, on the right-hand side. And Agahoa definitely caught his heels.
Well, and Boma, with that powerful left foot, stands over it. And Jeremy's walked away, so it's going to be Patrick Mboma. And that was a pretty good lead by Sharonmu. Fairly confident. Certainly worth a go from there.
Well, he didn't look particularly comfortable. He seemed to scurry across his goal. Wasn't the most well-hit free kick from Mboma.
He's certainly capable of better, as he showed against the Ivory Coast. You see a tiredness is creeping in. Now Lembe. Agahoa brought down by Wome. At least adjudged to have been brought down.
Got great body strength, Wome, even at this stage of the game.
And Raymond Caller's going to have to come off. Centre back for Cameroon, and it's Lucien Matomo of Saint-Etienne to replace him. Well, Caller got that strapping on his thigh. I imagine that's got something to do with the substitution. He's been a real rock, though, for Cameroon. Matomo will just have to fit in alongside Song and Ajanka. That could be difficult. It's good piece of skill there from Okocha. Still battling away for it as well. Close control's unbelievable at times, JJ Okocha.
Just when you think he's lost it, he's actually still got it. Such quick feet, great balance.
Now Kanu with Agahoa in front of him and Babangida to his right. Babangida just saying his options. He's done brilliantly. Babangida! Great save, Alium. Maybe his position wasn't brilliant, but he recovered.
That's exactly what it was. It was a great recovery save. Babangida shows a clean pair of heels there to Olombe. And I was waiting for the cross, as was Olium. Decisive save, I think.
Well, it was struck fiercely, and I thought it was in for a second. But Babangida had done it again. Still danger though. Babangida's corner, and that was ambitious. Had a little bit of cramp. He's still got a substitute to use. It's just Agahoa and Babangida who've come on. And there's Joe Bonfret, and just telling someone to warm up. Adepoju has run tirelessly. Maybe it was that knock he got as well early on.
He didn't hold back with that attempted volley, put everything into it, and maybe the twisting. Just twisted his knee.
There certainly seems to be a signal to Bonfrere that Adepoju maybe couldn't continue. We'll wait and see on that. Here's Njanka. And now Joseph Desire Job. I have a feeling it's going to be one of the spark players who's going to win this, a la Babangida just then. Significant that he managed to get past Lembe. It means he can do it again, and that could be very, very important.
Yeah, next time that situation arises, Olombe will just be feeling a little bit ill at ease as Babangida bears down on him.
There's a blatant nudge in the back on Kanu. Again, he provides this awkward threat. Very hard to defend against. Well, Victor Ikpeba is going to replace Adepoju. That's an attacking move. Whether that means that Kanu will drop back a little more into the midfield, or whether Ikpeba will play in the midfield, we'll wait and see. Ikpeba having fallen out with the coach and been dropped from the side. We're talking about the script being written for Agahoa, maybe it's written for Victor Ikpeba. Well, surely he's not going to try one from here. He did Sunday, Elise. And played in dangerously. And now Babangida. Well, appeals for handball, but lucky to have that given. Lembe doing enough defensively. Well, it was definitely ball to hand.
Yeah, no question there. Never a doubt that that was going to be waved on.
It'll be JJ Okocha with a long throw. Kanu's starting to look very tired. But they've used their substitutes now, Nigeria. Good leap there from Njanka. Another chance for Okocha. And Babayaro. Again, Babayaro. It's going to be Elise, who was always rising from the moment he hit it. And his shots from long range are a real weapon, though, for Nigeria, and it's worth a crack from him. Played in, but straight at Aliou as Ikpeba closed in.
As you'd expect in extra time, all the players are looking a little bit tired, a little bit jaded. Passes going astray, crosses not finding the target.
Song's header there. He seems to be enjoying himself anyway. Obviously keep them fit at Liverpool. Just ran away there from Babangida. He seems to be looking towards him down that right-hand side. Sense the threat may come from there. Well, everything's in place now for Nigeria if they can just push on and win it. Nations Cup victory would mean so much. And now it's Babangida in space. It's not a bad cross either from Babangida! And it wasn't far wide. I think Aliou had given up on it from Ikpeba.
Great ball in there from Babangida. Ikpeba's not the biggest, but the momentum that he had there got him to the ball first. And Aliou could only just watch that ball go past the post.
The first real chance at extra time falls to Nigeria. It was Babangida's shot as well, of course. And that a real opening for Ikpeba there.
Well, it's definitely Nigeria who are looking more likely. Cameroon haven't got into any sort of rhythm yet in this first period of extra time.
Was looking towards Agahoa. Maybe Cameroon finding their rhythm. Ball forward from Natomo. That's Jeremy's cross. And that's Shirunmu's throw. And they are looking to Babangida. Nizik Paver. Forward from Elise towards Kanu. You wouldn't know it was extra time in the final, would you? Juggling act from Rigobert Song.
He's annoyed and frustrated with himself. He knew he made the wrong decision there, Rigobert Song. I don't think he intentionally wanted to be clever, but the ball seemed to just pop up, but he started juggling with it. Instead of being away to safety, gives Nigeria a corner. Corner for nothing, really.
Corner for Babangida to try and weave some magic from. And that time, the header clear. I'd still love to be in one of those Liverpool training sessions and hear what Phil Thompson says to Rigobert Song. He's tearing his hair out, I would have thought. Well, Babangida's done brilliantly there, but just out of play.
It has been very noticeable in the game that both sides are extremely strong down the right-hand side, and you have to think carefully to see what's actually coming from the left-hand side. Very little from both sides.
Caught a glimpse of our friend the loop player there, the George Formby of the African Nations Cup. Now look at the pace there from Job. Got a bit of competition today though, hasn't he? A couple of guitarists in there as well. There's Jeremy. And there are some very weary legs out there. Now Lembe. He can inject some pace. He looked for Job. And I don't think Job provides the same threat as Eto. He just doesn't seem to have that edge to his game, Job. It's Elise who's down. At this point in the game, it's weariness more than anything.
Yeah, it really is. It's been a very well fought game, very competitive, as you would expect for this level of competition.
Remember, Nigeria haven't got any more substitutes to use if Elise has to stay off. Oh, they're sportingly picking possession back. And into injury time in the first half of extra time. Nigeria have certainly looked the likelier in this first period. Both Babangida and Ikpeba going close. Here's a Kocha. Forward from Babangida. Now Kanu drifting wide and winning the throw-in. Cameroon's ball. Paver felt he should have had a free kick there. And that's the end of the first period of extra time. And you'd say on possession and chances advantage Nigeria, but still 2-2. Still we wait for the decisive moment in the final of the African Nations Cup 2000. Well, it's supposed to be a straight changeover in extra time, so hopefully we can get underway pretty swiftly.
We shall proceed to take penalty kicks. Thank you.
And there's the explanation again.
You to please remain very calm and do not, for whatever reason, come into the arena. Thank you for your cooperation.
He's very polite in the African Nations Cup. You just don't get that at European grounds. Service with a smile. And Nigeria's turn to get us underway. Agaho has had to drop back into midfield.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't see anything of Agaho in that first half of extra time.
And that's very sloppy. And there's Laurent Meyer. Got to just find some energy from somewhere. Run himself into the ground. Oh, it's well done by Jeremy. Now Mboma again trying to get it onto his left foot. And the foul given against Wome.
Again, good decision by Mourad Daami, the referee. He's had a very good game. He hasn't really missed anything that's gone on in the field. His decision making has been very good indeed.
Refereeing in the tournament's been excellent in the main. The odd two-footed challenge missed here and there. There's Paver. And Meyer can bring it clear. And the mistakes are really slipping in now, as you'd expect. And it must have been close. I thought Mboma had kept that in. It's going to be Babayaro with the throw. We're creeping closer and closer to penalties here. Given away again. And it's who's going to take advantage of these mistakes. That was Alembe. He in turn gives possession back. Now there's going to be a gap for Babangida to run into. Bowie is trying to get back. Managed to put Babangida off temporarily. Kocha. And Agaho. Now Kanu. This is looking dangerous here. But they wanted perfection. And one pass too many.
Best little sequence of play we've seen for a while. Particularly when you got Kanu on the ball in the box like that, you think something's going to happen. And it almost did.
Kanu always seems so wonderfully aware of what's going on around him. Strong challenge comes in on Meyer. That's great play from Agaho. Goodness knows what he was doing at left back, but certainly did a job for his side there. Not too much inspiration out there.
That's quite laboured now, and looking for that little bit of magic. Hopefully the decisive goal would come from magic rather than a mistake. As the players become more and more tired, mistakes become more likely.
It's always the hope that you express, but unfortunately it doesn't happen too often like that. Kanu's touch letting him down. Not often you say that. Jeremy's long throw used to different effect. Here's Alembe. Jeremy's carried on piling forward. Laura Meyer goes to the other side. Jeremy's gone down. But still, this is Mboma, who nearly got through. Meyer still might. Not going to test Sharon move from there. It was just a split second when it looked as if Mboma was through that. Ten minutes left before penalty kicks in the final of the African Nations Cup then. Ball forward from Babangida, who goes for the return and gets there. Foe, as ever, helping out his defence. Now Agahoa. Tabers found a little bit of space here. Nigeria have a corner. Good play for the two substitutes, Agahoa and Ikpeba there. Ikpeba's gone into the penalty area, try and continue the threat. There was a deft clearance from Song. Now Babayaro. He's enthusiastically closed down by Job. It's a very intelligent ball forward. Was it kept in? No, Tabor couldn't quite get there. Joe Bonplayer just wondering what he can do now. Certainly can't bring any more players on.
No, when the players are so tired, there's not a great deal that you can do tactically. It's a case of who's got the energy left in the tank.
Well, Job's got plenty of energy and he's still going, and he's got support. There's Agahoa. Babangida needs some heroics from him. Again, the battle for pace. And this time Alembe does well to keep up with Babangida.
You have to think it's going to be Babangida who's going to produce something. It's definitely been the most lively in the period of extra time that we've seen.
A long throw from Okocha. Kanu the threat at the near post. Ikpeba's at the far post. Doesn't even get that far though. Wonderfully confident piece of defending by Mboma. It's a good touch from Mboma as well, but it's went too far in front of him. He didn't have the legs to chase it. He's another who's had an exceptional game. Well, that is tired. There'll be plenty of club managers dotted about who are delighted this has gone to extra time. Another half hour's toll on their players' legs. Celestine Babayaro of Chelsea looks to be really suffering. There's Joe. There's the Lens in France. Dinkton again towards Joe. Defending again from Agahoa. He's revealing another side of his game here. There's the ball from Babayaro, but the paver was offside.
Agahoa has done well on the left-hand side, trying to snuff out the threat of Laurent Meyer, and he's successfully done that. But extremely scrappy now. No great passing movements been put together.
There's Babayaro who can clear. Space for Okocha, and now Kanu. Strangely shuffling gait of his, Kanu. And Babagida's got round his man. And he's earned the throw-in. Good challenge by a very tired-looking Njanka. Only 5 minutes to go now in extra time in the Nations Cup final. Who will it be? Again, Okocha launches the long throw. Again, though, it's cleared away. And Maya's making a break here. I'm not sure he's got the legs, though. It was Babayaro's challenge. Would it be fitting if it was Maya who scored the winning goal? He made a great run, he just didn't have the pace there.
Yeah, it looked promising for a moment, but there was an awful long way to go to goal when Maya took up possession of the ball.
And here's Babangida. Oh, he's done well here to cut inside, but Paver made a run and Babangida didn't find it.
So very frustrating for everyone now. No glimmers of opportunities, but everybody's so tired, mentally drained, physically drained. Of course, if it does go to penalties, those who are taking the penalties need to be tuned into that as well.
Now Jeremy. Can someone produce here and win it? Not looking like it. No one seems to have any strength in the final third of the field, any legs left. Long throw from Jeremy towards Mboma. Had to be a good header from Ian Amy. There's Maya battling away again. He must be exhausted. There's a rather crude foul. Kanu's so good at winning fouls in that position, though.
Such an awkward customer, such a big physique. I think lanky's the word. Difficult to deal with, and he wins the free kick, takes the pressure off the Nigerian defence.
Now Agahoa being pretty quiet. A lot of defending to do in extra time. It's Paver, dispossessed. Well, that's just an obvious trip from Elise, who's already been booked. And who is very, very lucky, the Nigerian captain. By the book he should have gone, but I think that's maybe sensible refereeing.
Yeah, I think excellent refereeing. Mourad Daami, I'm sure he was thinking about going for the yellow card and thought it through quickly, because this game certainly doesn't deserve anybody to leave the field. taking the tiredness into account as well, I think a proper decision was reached there.
So if he doesn't score the winning penalty, he'd raise a few eyebrows. Forward from Song. Feature there was that Song was almost too tired to complain, which isn't like him. Challenge there from Elise. Now maybe Babangida. In the last minute. 6 Cameroon defenders with him though. Agahoa sold the Kocha a bit short there. Now Joe up against Daami. Oh, he's done well to play, and Boma, can Boma win it? No, just didn't quite have the strength.
I think given his time again, he would have hit that one first time with his right foot. It's his weaker foot. But Joba done well, and Boma at times has run well.
And now Nigeria at the other end. Dick Paver, what a story would be if he won it. And suddenly, as we approach penalties, chances appear. Into injury time in extra time. Surely there can't be much time left. Well, it's going to go to penalties, the 22nd Nations Cup. No one's managed to win it in 120 minutes of football. So the players need to refocus their minds and prepare for agony.
We shall now have...
Well, of course, we'll have the penalties and the presentations and what have you live for you on Eurosport. Another look at JJ Okocha and his goal, and we'll be back for penalties straight after the break.
Cameroon.
Lagos, we don't look too much closer to actually starting penalty kicks to decide this African Nations Cup. There's lots of weary legs out there, as we saw in extra time. We'll have the lists been handed to the referee already? I have to hope so, and so we can get on with it. There's an awful lot of tension around the stadium here. 40,000 capacity, I reckon there are a few more in than that. And so many of the Nigerians feel it was their destiny to win back this Nations Cup. It's done so much to harmonise the country. Over 200 different spoken languages in Nigeria. And they've all come together behind the Super Eagles. And the Super Eagles have finally sorted out some of their internal problems. But they've come up against a very well organised Cameroon side. They went 2-0 down Nigeria, and back to 2-2, and since then no one's been able to break the deadlock. I'm sure that Trevor Stevens been in this situation before as a player. So what's going through your mind?
Well, you don't look forward to it, certainly. The occasion that most people will be aware of is Stuart Pearce, Chris Waddle, 1990 penalty misses in the World Cup. I think I was next one up if we hadn't have lost it against Germany at penalties. I'll tell you what, it's nerve-wracking. Wouldn't wish that on anybody. But as these players are going to have to face it, not only are they having to face it, they have to face it with tired limbs, tired minds as well. And there really is just so much to gain, but so much to lose if you're picked to take one of the penalties.
Do you think there's an advantage for Nigeria being at home here?
Not particularly, I wouldn't have thought so. It's really every man for themselves now. It's who keeps the cool, which goalkeeper as well can produce the heroics.
Certainly gives the Nigerian goalkeeper Ike Shirunmu a chance to redeem himself. He let that Mboma shot through his legs. And now he could be villain turned hero. It must be great being a goalkeeper in a penalty shootout, because you've really got nothing to lose unless you let an obvious soft penalty in. Just thinking of Sepp Maier and Panenka then. I suppose it's not always great to be a goalkeeper in a penalty shootout, but normally nothing to lose. And there's those invaluable goal kick and throw-in stats again. 2-2 it finished. Itu and Mboma for Cameroon, 2-0 up. And then Chukwu and Okocha with a brilliant strike, making it 2-2. And we thought there'd be more goals, but it proved there weren't. Babangida and Ikpeba probably came the closest. Eto'o hit the post as well for Cameroon. And now it's down to 5 penalty kicks. By the way, Sean Bartlett confirmed as the top scorer in the tournament with 5 goals. And Mboma and Eto'o with 4 each behind him. That's all irrelevant now. And someone's going to make a hero of themselves. And someone is going to have a pretty bad old evening as well. Well, going back in history, the legendary Nations Cup final, the penalty shootout went to 11-10. And Ghana won it. I don't think we could cope with that. Well, I don't know what the delay is, but hopefully we'll be getting going soon. Half-time lists over to the referee, and it looks like we're ready to start. And first up, it is Nigeria, and that's really well tucked away. And JJ Okocha, brilliantly done.
Yeah, excellent penalty by JJ Okocha, getting the proceedings underway. Alioum went the right way, of course. The accuracy and the power behind that sufficient to take it into the net.
So now it's Ike Shirunmu's turn. Looks like Patrick Mboma. Excellent penalty again. Shirunmu going the right way, but right in the corner.
Yeah, mission accomplished there for Patrick Mboma. And again, goalkeeper's chosen the right side.
So the tension increases and increases. 1-1 on penalties. So now what can Alioum do? Well, that's driven in with some power. (2-1) to Nigeria.
Yeah, another well-hit penalty.
Little bit of delay before the next Cameroon penalty here. It's all going to plan so far. The goalkeeper's come close to saving as yet. And now we get the psychology here from Shirunmu. And it's Pierre Wome to take the Cameroon. The referee, Mourad Daami, is telling Shirunmu to get back on his line. All these mind games always go on during penalty shootouts. And Wome must block all of that out, and it looks like he's going to blast it here. So it's Wome against Shirunmu. Oh, excellently tucked away by Wome.
Wome was excellent in the game, and that was an excellent penalty to add to his performance. That, in fact, I think you'd have to say was the best penalty so far. Side-footed but drilled. Quality of penalties so far has been excellent. Lots of pressure on these players.
And he showed all his experience there, Pierre Wome. It's going to be Kanu now, loping forward. Oh, and Alioum's joining her with the psychology now, telling her to put the ball on the spot.
Should be interesting. Kanu always does things with a touch of style. And what styles are they going to choose?
Yeah. You can't really imagine him blasting it. He might well try and roll it somewhere. We'll see. Kanu against Alioum. And Alioum saved it! First blood to Cameroon in the penalty shootout. Kanu, so often the hero for Nigeria, the African Footballer of the Year, misses.
Yeah, he's fairly distraught about it as well. Threw himself to the ground. As soon as Alioum got his hands firmly to that ball. Seemed to be quite a dramatic movement, I must say, from Alioum. Jumped forward off the line as Kanu stepped forward. Of course, the goalkeepers can move along the line but not come off it. Kanu might say that Alioum definitely moved well before he struck the ball.
So a chance for Cameroon to take advantage of Kanu's miss. Can Shirunmu get Nigeria back into it? This is Jeremy! And driven in by Jeremy. 3-2 to Cameroon.
Well, no holding back there from Jeremy. He wasn't trying to be clever, just wanted to make a good contact, and certainly did that.
And so, the next penalty is really, really important. And Alioum waits again. Now, did it go over the line? I rather think it did, but what's the referee said? Well, let's have another look at this. It definitely went over the line. Definitely.
Yeah, that's in.
Well,
yeah, that is definitely in.
What's the linesman done here? Well, there's a bit of controversy here. Well, it's been given on the screen. So Mark Vivian Foe. And for Cameroon, oh, and he's missed! Would you believe he's missed the target? Absolutely criminal, not even to make the goalkeeper work from a penalty. And so two English Premiership stars have missed, Kanu and Foe.
That is very precise in choosing what he was going to do with the penalty. Not like Jeremy before him, who thrashed it into the net, tried to pick his corner, tried to borrow too much.
Well, I have to say there's still some confusion about whether the penalty crossed the line or not. Well, now it's 3-all.
There again, see Alioum coming off his line, throwing himself forward, which of course narrows the angle for himself. There certainly does seem to be some confusion as to how the actual scoreline stands at the moment. We certainly felt that that was over the line. Penalty that came off the underside of the crossbar.
Well, if that penalty wasn't awarded, and apparently it hasn't been, then this is for the African Nations Cup. And it's the captain, Rigobert Song of Liverpool, has the chance to put Cameroon in dreamland here. Song against Giroud, and he's done it! And Cameroon have won the African Nations Cup, albeit in controversial circumstances. Rigobert Song, who's had a splendid tournament, has led his side all the way. And that was a captain's penalty.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that penalty whatsoever. Rigobert Song playing the captain's part in the end. But I would have to say that Nigeria must be wondering about that penalty. The fourth penalty it was for them. Certainly seemed to cross the line as far as I was concerned. That's not been given.
It's a shame it has to end like this, and no one, as they always say, deserves to lose. But Cameroon it is who win it on penalties. And Rigobert Song will shortly step forward to pick up the African Nations Cup. Cameroon have played in 3 finals against Nigeria, and now they have won them all. It's Cameroon's 3rd victory in the tournament. Well, I don't argue too much with that, and Laurent Meyer gets the vote. Now have another look at the penalties. There's a save from Aliou, and that, for me, went over the line. The linesman got it wrong, but doesn't matter now. And that's the decisive penalty from Rigobert Song. What a memory to take back to Merseyside for him. And Nigerians are absolutely desolate, so it wasn't their destiny to win this tournament.
Well, I must say that don't want to make too much of it. I really do have to comment on that penalty. The linesman is there for the very purpose to make sure that the ball crosses the line in whatever form, whether it does or doesn't cross the line. And that 4th penalty from Nigeria, for me, certainly was well over the line, and that really has cost them.
Well, there's Kanu's miss, which started the rot. You'd have banked on him, wouldn't you? And real power there from Jeremy. And that is what we're talking about. And if you look at it from that angle, it was over the line. I don't think there's any question. But it didn't count. And that's desperate for Nigeria. So Foe's miss. And eventually Rigobert Song was able to win it for Cameroon. And all is silence in Lagos.
Hello, Rome. This is Bob Mullins from GE Insight, Milwaukee. We're monitoring your MRI machine and we think you might have a problem.
Doctors depend on the GE MRI to make critical decisions. That's why GE monitors 13,000 medical machines from around the world 24 hours a day. So advanced GE medical technology is always ready.
E tutto a posto.
Just doing my job.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Sting.
Big fans of Dune.
We're here to show you how to drive traffic to sting.compact.com by tapping into the equity of your Stingness.
How? Quality merchandise. Like the brand new day alarm clock.
It's my head.
If you want to send somebody a message in the bottle, this is what you need. How romantic is that? It's a Sting Jello mold. What do you think of that? The brand new day toaster emblazons your face right on anything you stick in here. Toast, bagels, doesn't matter.
From the acclaimed director of The Shawshank Redemption,
take my hand, boss,
comes an extraordinary motion picture event.
What did you just do to me?
Tom Hanks.
On the day of my judgment, when I stand before God, what am I going to say?
The Green Mile.
We're still talking about the penalty shootout. The penalty. Did it or didn't it cross the line? Well, it certainly did for us, but it doesn't matter now. So Issa Hayatu, the president of the Confederation of African Football, prepares to present the trophies. You see the Cameroon players celebrating, but it's so eerie here. They came in their thousands to watch Nigeria lift the African Nations Cup. And instead, Cameroon have spectacularly spoiled the party. 2-0 up in normal time, Cameroon. Nigeria brought it back to 2-2. And then extra time, and finally a controversial win on penalty kicks.
To be presented to the captain of the Super Eagles.
And that's how Cameroon did it from the group stage. Algeria and Tunisia, both North African opposition,
and the presentation will be made by
and then beating the hosts, the co-hosts Nigeria. And Sunday Elise doesn't really want to go and pick up the losers trophy.
Not to surge on the page. Please
He's
remain
desperate.
where you are.
And a lot of the fans being encouraged not to come on the pitch, but a lot of the fans have already gone home. And what a dreadful shame. Sunday Elise in tears. But he has to pick up the losers trophy after they lost on penalty kicks to Cameroon. And the unwelcome pictures that'll probably be front page news in Nigeria. And the inquest will begin. Nigeria provided so many thrills in this tournament. And there's a cheer for Sunday Elise, who recovered from malaria, to come back and play in this tournament. But it's not the ending that he wanted, or you suspect the organisers wanted as well. And it'll be left to Rigobert Song, the captain of Cameroon, to come forward and accept the African Nations Cup. The man who scored the winning penalty. Been an outstanding performer as well, Rigobert Song. But there's a really strange atmosphere about these celebrations. Cameroon players going wild, and nothing but silence around the ground. And Pierre Lechantre joining in the celebrations, adding a touch of French style to the dancing. Certainly what he'll think anyway. A great coaching achievement by him. It's a shame, Trevor, that it has to end like this in silence.
Yes, certain degree of anticlimax. Unfortunately, Cameroon have done superbly well. Bit of a disappointing end as far as the penalty incident is concerned. But it was an excellent final until it probably died off a little bit because of the players basically being very, very tired.
Nigeria.
So time now for the players to get their medals. There's Celestine Babayaro. And so much disappointment. Babangida, who didn't start the game, there'll be an inquest about that probably. And he gets a hand on the shoulder from Mr. Hayatu. And there's Kanu, who missed the penalty.
By CAF President Alhaji Issa Hayatu.
Ndi and Amy. Medals for everybody, but they're not particularly welcome. Reserve goalkeeper Egba, I think, just threw his away there. I guess Issa Hayatu none too happy with that. There's Chukwu's goal just before half-time, gave so much hope. It's all or nothing in African football, and unfortunately for Nigeria, it's nothing but a loser's medal. Big payback.
Well, for these players, it really counts for nothing. As you rightly say, Dave, it was all about winning.
We want spectators not to surge
particularly for
on the field.
Nigeria on the home
If
turf.
you have no business with the teams, please do not go.
It's a major disappointment for them. See, it's written all over their faces. And I'm sure they'd rather not have to be going through this ceremony, but it's all part and parcel of the game, of course.
Yeah, I suppose you milk it when you win and you have to go through it when you lose. And Godwin Okpara will be going back to Paris Saint-Germain now. And debate will rage and rage about that penalty kick, and I thought it was in. There's Julius Agaho, what a future ahead of him, but not his day. And Taribo West. And again, poor old Sunday Elise has to come up, this time to get the medal. It's all a bit much, this actually. It's taking a long time. I'm sure the players, as Trevor said, aren't really enjoying it. No, not enjoying it at all. And finally, Joe Bonfrere comes so close to winning it. And he gets his medal now.
And now, the turn
And he's disgusted
of the
about the
match
penalty.
officials. The officials are
Well, sorry about this. Now we've got the match
Daami,
officials.
referee from Tunisia.
Tunisian referee.
Assistant referee Taufik Ajengui from Tunisia. Assistant referee 2 Dante Dramani from Mali.
And medals for everybody.
And reserve referee Ella John Abdurrahim from Morocco.
Assistant referee from Mali, the hosts of the Nations Cup next time round. And all kinds of
And also the
backslapping.
match commissioner,
I think I just heard someone say,
Olefi
"Where's Rigobert?"
Oliphant, who is from South Africa.
And a medal as well for the match commissioner.
The distinction is still being made by CAF President.
There's lots more flowers.
Alhaji Issa
And
Hayatu.
Rigobert Song and the Cameroon players will be coming forward to collect them in a moment. Now here come
And
the
now
Cameroon
the
players.
champion, 22nd Cup of Nations competition. The indomitable Lions of Cameroon. Champions in 1984. Champions
And Rigobert
in
Song's
1988.
waiting at the end of that queue
Now for the third time
to pick up the African Nations Cup of the year 2000. Look at the difference in expressions. But these players have done brilliantly, Trevor.
Yeah, it's been an absolute superb effort. They have looked the best team, it has to be said. Nigeria have got tremendous individual skill, but Cameroon looked a well-drilled team.
is being performed by
Well driven from behind there as well by Rigobert Song.
Nigeria.
As you say, we'll collect the trophy.
Damishi Sango, who is also chairman of the local organizing
And it
committee.
has been a splendid effort. Eventually they carry the trophy off in strange circumstances. As far as the penalty incident is concerned, but you can't begrudge them their victory.
Yeah, it's a shame about that. It certainly shouldn't be held against them, although you rather feel that the headlines might be about that. And the headlines in Lagos will be critical of Nigeria. They just failed to push on and win it. Babangida came so close, and so did Ikpeba. The misses in the penalty shootout proving crucial ultimately. So we await Rigobert's song. He's there somewhere. And this trophy we'll look to keep, of course. Their third victory in the Nations Cup. A new one being cast for Mali in 2002. Pierre Lechant getting his medal. A picture of delight. Claude Leroy, previously winning the Nations Cup as a French coach in the 80s, and now the turn of Lechant. And here is Rigobert's song. Come all the way from Liverpool Football Club, and now we'll pick up the African Nations Cup, the first of the new century. And so Issa Hayatou finally gets to the nitty-gritty, and Cameroon are the champions of Africa for the year 2000. Delight on the face of Rigobert's song, driven by the brilliant Foe in midfield, and Maya and Jeremy, and Song and Callahan and Janker at the back, and we mustn't forget Mboma and Eto'o. I think just about the best team has won it, maybe not the most exciting team. The Cameroon have edged it on penalties, and they thoroughly deserve their moment of glory.
Honorable Damishi Sango.
So to 1984 and 1988 you can add 2000, and to Roger Miller you can add the name of Rigobert's song. I'm sure there'll be a wonderful reception awaiting them in Cameroon. I'm sure this victory is being enjoyed in many parts of the world. Unfortunately, Lagos isn't one of them. There's a squad of 22 players and a coach and a backup team who are loving it. And apart from that, it's all a bit of an anticlimax. So that's our first major international trophy out of the way on Eurosport. We've got Euro 2000 to come, of course, in the summer from Holland and Belgium.
The German Senate Committee on Sports
today belongs to Rigobert's song and to Cameroon. It's just a shame that it has to go to penalties, I suppose. You can't have everything.
The Minister of Sports, Cameroon.
We have to remember that this competition as well becomes more and more prestigious as time goes by. Much more importance is linked to it because all these players, or the majority of them, now playing in European football, of course.
Football coming up on Eurosport, Euro goals as ever on Monday, and Euro legends coming up on Tuesday. There's the goal from Eto'o. Set Cameroon on their way. And that came on 25 minutes. And then the goalkeeping error from Shirunmu. And Boma's fourth goal of the tournament.
Well, we should have guessed at this stage that it wasn't going to be Nigeria's day after all. But they didn't give up, certainly. 2-0 down. They kept at it. Sunday Olisaire trying his luck from 35 metres out. This was one of the chances. It was badly missed. Turned by Okocha.
I guess he made up for it later. He should have finished there though. An extraordinary moment. Ian Amy's header against his own crossbar. And then Sharunmu's save.
Yeah, that could have made it 3-0. And then it would have been all over. But not to be.
And that chance for Eto'o. Again, that was to make it 3-0. And he just felt if Nigeria could get a goal back, they'd be in with a chance. Great play from Kanu, and it was Chukwu just on the stroke of half-time to make it 2-1. And you felt then it might be Nigeria's day after all.
And after
Especially
this, yeah, exactly. After that moment, immediately after half-time, of course, and JJ Okocha couldn't have struck that better. And then we really knew we had a game in our hands.
In all honesty, we thought Nigeria would go on and win it then. I certainly did. Although Eto'o had this chance. Very unlucky. The band carried on playing as it has throughout the tournament, and then in extra time, Babangida nearly won it for Nigeria.
Alium save here. Said at the time it was decisive. Probably was in the end.
Paver's header, so close for Nigeria. They went closer in extra time, that's for sure. But in the end it came down to penalties. It came down to Kanu's miss. And it came down to Rigobert's song. The miss from Foe. But the captain stepped up and won the Nations Cup for Cameroon. We've certainly enjoyed it over the last few weeks. But for now, from Trevor Stephen and from me, Dave Farrar, it's goodbye.